I actually don't believe that math and code and algorithms are the master's tools. Computer science, as we currently experience it, absolutely like of this society. But these like truths about like numbers and like predicting patterns, that no like group of people has ownership over that.
Surely this is some of what you're trying to address through AI for abolition. So what is AI for abolition?
Yeah, absolutely. Learning that abolition is not really just about the destruction of or the dismantling of carceral systems like the prison industrial complex, like policing in America, but it is also the practice of imagining and holding on to and working toward an alternative future. And so I think that is where technology and abolition are kind of like natural bedmates, right? Because part of my training in computer science is like, how do we invent the new future? Not in a techno optimist way for me, at least, not in a techno deterministic way either. But I started kind of circling around this question of, well, in this abolitionist future that we are working toward, where everyone's basic needs are being taken care of and met, and we have we have mechanisms for collective care and mutual aid. We no longer play into these carceral state violent systems, right? Is there a place for math, code, algorithms in that world? And one of the answers I came to in that journey, you're going to walk with me here a little bit, was like, I don't know. Like the algorithmic systems as they currently exist are pretty carceral, right? Like so many of them are used to punish people, for example. Also, like there is that natural connection between data collection and like predicting human behavior and systems of policing, or parole and probation, or bail setting. All of those ways that we know algorithms are, all of those systems that we know algorithms are working in and are being biased in as well, right? So at first I was like, well, the master's tools are not going to dismantle the master's house. So no, there's no role for technology in this future. And then I came to this point where I was like, I actually don't believe that math and code and algorithms are the master's tools. Computer science, as we currently experience it, absolutely like of this society. But these like truths about like numbers and like predicting patterns, that no like group of people has ownership over that. And so like I don't yet have any answers about how AI can be used in an abolitionist context. I have theories and I'm like running experiments right now. But it's something that I'm really curious about, especially because the thing that we need, the thing that abolitionists particularly need is an alternative vision that could work at scale. Because the current scale of carcerality is massive, right? It's not just the prison industrial complex, which is massive. It's not just policing, which is massive. It's the military industrial complex, which is also massive. It is the impending ecological threats that will make it so folks can't get their basic needs met and so many will perish. And so I'm not ready to accept that there's no role for the scale of big data and computation in trying to solve for some of these problems, which are so massively, or which are existing at such a massive scale.
There are ways actually that we can reclaim our sovereignty in these moments that might purely be performative now. But if more and more people start doing that, it starts to become like, it might still be performative, but it starts to have actual impact. I know you did a video where you declined to have your face scanned at the airport. Simple steps that add 1 minute in position to your life that maybe if a lot of people start doing them, have major impacts.
Yeah, I mean, the facial recognition technology at the airport, the opting out thing is like such a good example because it's so performative, but it is such a good muscle to build. Like, it's scary to do that. The first time I did it, I was very scared. I'm not gonna lie. And you know, there's this like government official who's grumpy, checking your passport. You don't want to like make their day worse. Usually it's like a woman of color. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sis, but I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, and also like that is a muscle that needs to be built across a bunch of different like everyday actions so that when like a moment like what's happening in South Korea now happens, you can be ready to look a military officer in the face and be like, put your weapons down. Like, we're not doing this. You know what I mean? So I see those opportunities, as you said, as like just exercise. It's like, you know, doing your 10 push-ups in the morning or whatever to like get you ready, go on your 1 mile run so that you can be ready for the, you know, marathon. Yeah. And I think the other thing I want to add to that is it feels important to instill that in children because like earlier is better for building those muscles, especially because they do not know of a world where this technology doesn't exist. They literally have no framework or conception for what the world was like before the internet. And each of us can like look back and hold on to that a little bit and be like, things are getting a little weird. My 5-year-old doesn't have that. He's not going to have that. And it's going to be like this weird nostalgia thing that his parents talk about, like old people. But like, if we don't like have these conversations with him about this is how we got to this place and we should be curious about and also critical of the things that don't feel like they affirm your full humanity.
Turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a planet. Can't nobody stop. Everyone turn on your facial recognition block. We're here to make a planet.